So next up, we've got Steve Giordano. Guys, Steve is a guy, he was number one producer in Family First Live. Now, when you say that, see, this is the thing. You say number one with some companies I figured out, I got to ask them, okay, well, what does that mean? What did you write? Like, you go with number one, it sounds good. But it's like, if I'm number one football star at my college and I go to VVC, it ain't that impressive, dude. Why? Because there's like 1,000 people that go there, and the school doesn't have a good football team, and they're like, I don't know, D19. I mean, like, it's not even relevant. But if I say I'm the top dog at Alabama, that's different. You're like, okay, this dude's going to the NFL. He's going to lead his family to financial wealth. He's going to change his trajectory, his family, because he knows how to play ball. Steve Giordano is number one with the biggest IMO in the insurance industry, with an IMO FFL that's got bigger, more top producers than any company out there. I mean, heck, to make it in the top 100, you probably got to issue pay over 400,000 now, is what this year is starting to unmask and reveal. So he was the number one producer with Family First Life. He did over 1.3 million in issue paid business in a given year. He had many months, if not every month for the year, where he issue paid over $100,000. So if you don't think he's got some tips, let me just tell you, buckle up. Lean in, take some notes. Steve Giordano's got some great stuff to give you, some things that he learned throughout the year where he was issue paying $100,000 month after month after month. And so thank you, Steve. And guys, lean in. You're going to want to listen to this. All right, Steven Giordano, man, good to have you with us, bro. And man, dude, like, you take a look at last year. What was your end of year numbers in personal production?
1.3 million.
God, 1.3 million. Let me just clarify, because there might be somebody that just clicked this and they're starting to watch and they're like, 1.3 million as an organization. No, but hey, by the way, that beats 90% of IMOs. I read somewhere like the average IMO does 80,000 a month. Dude, you did more than 80,000 a month on your own pin, dude. So like, I don't know how it feels walking around knowing that you're your own independent marketing organization, bro, but phenomenal job. You've made an impact on many different people throughout the organization as far as belief. I didn't believe that was done. And now that I know it's done, I believe it can be done. And the crazy thing is people also believe it, because in 2021, think about how many people, Stephen, that are on pace to do $1 million in issue paid business. A lot, dude. Where last year you were the one really that was getting after it. And so pretty cool to see, dude. It's definitely made a big difference. And that being said, to do over 1.3 million on your own pin, you've seen a lot of clients. I mean, last year, how many clients do you think you saw last year?
Yeah, I think I averaged 30 appointments a week, and I probably sit with like 18. So let's do the math on 18 times 52.
That's a lot. Let's just not do it. So we both seem like we're smarter than we actually are and not have a big mistake. So that's a lot of family. So obviously with that many, experiences, that many scenarios, that many situations, when you sit with clients, you learn, you learn some things. You learn what to do. You learn what not to do. You learn what works really well. You learn what doesn't work at all. And so I'm excited to hear your number one tip, man. So if we can get in that, what's your biggest tip in the home that you can give us on a Monday morning, bro?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. It's an honor. And I'll just say a quick story. When I first started, I used to listen to the Monday morning wake up call as I was getting in the business, walking my dog and hearing all these numbers. And now what it's exploded to is just amazing. So I'm honored to be on here with you, first of all. So for the in-home, for me, I like the word simple. I like to keep things really, really simple with clients. And the reason is because I don't want to lose people. I want to make sure that when I'm sitting with them, they understand that this is not a cumbersome process. This is a process that we're going to go through together, where we're going to find the best option for you and your family, but we're going to do it in a simple way. So I honestly feel like I say that word a lot in the in-home. The other piece that goes hand in hand with that is getting people what they qualify for. And I know it's such a simple thing that we hear in the scripts and everything, but the worst thing is trying to sell someone on something they can't get. And that's something that I've really, really worked on. And that's why I think I'm able to issue pay a lot, because I'm actually issuing policies and I'm not submitting people for things that they can't get. So when it comes to the in-home, there's a way you have to be able to communicate that. You have to take control in the house. And once you've assessed a client's health, being able to then tell them, like, if they've had, a heart issue and they want a term on a mortgage protection, and I had this last night actually, being able to tell the client, hey, this is what makes sense for you and your situation. And then being able to, we'll say, quote unquote, sell them on that, as opposed to trying to sell them on what they want. And that can be a hard thing for new agents. And I think when you can get yourself up, ramp yourself up to 100 appointments, and you've sat with a lot of people, it becomes that much easier because you're not intimidated by the fact of telling them something that they might not be able to get. That would be, a couple of quick things on the in-home. On the simplicity side, going back to that, I would say if you communicate that process is going to be really, really simple, they're going to feel at ease, because they're going to feel like you're not selling them. They're going to feel like this is a very, cut and dry type of a thing, and it's not cumbersome. And also letting them know that kind of you're their friend. I say things like, you don't need to have the most expensive insurance in the world. You just need to have some. We're trying to cover loss, as opposed to, trying to give them a huge death benefit, let's say, but we're trying to cover the loss that you're going to have, whether it be for a spouse or for a child. So I think all of those things, they kind of take themselves to where the client feels at ease. And really, that's what, in my opinion, what you're looking for. You don't want them to feel overwhelmed. You want them to feel at ease, that you're kind of on the same team. That all kind of makes sense.
It makes great sense, dude. And I think that that's important, man. You're finding out, a couple different words that the client wants to hear that are taken well, and then using those. Like when you say simple, it does make him feel at ease, because the one thing that could hold them back from leaning in and hearing all the things they need to hear from you is they believe it's complex. They think there's a lot to it. And so in their mind, they're searching for the complexity in it, and they're not hearing the heart behind the importance and the value of the protection. So I think that, Stephen, for one, this is really good. This is a massive tip, like understanding what could be holding people back, the agent back, and also the client back. I mean, that's what you're talking about here. You're talking about for the client, like, when you say simple, how that puts them at ease. Well, it's because what could rattle them or keep them out of sorts or keep them from hearing is complexity, right? Another thing that can keep them from hearing is them thinking that it's not affordable, or thinking that they might not be able to afford it. That could keep them also from hearing. Another thing that could keep them from hearing you is thinking that you're a salesperson. Like, they're comparing you to the guy that walked in a week ago trying to sell them, I don't know, water softener or something like that. And so these are all the things that can keep the client from hearing you. Now, if they can't hear you, they can't see the value, because your words are painting a picture, and the picture is showing the value, and the value is where that leads them to buying. And so that's what we're talking about. This is good. This is really good. So what words are you saying that help bring down that wall that's keeping them from moving forward and actually listening to you? That's a big deal. And so I love that, man. I think that's a home run. And it's, I wonder, in fact, Stephen, if we can camp here, what are some other like words that you believe, or phrases like, this is what all my clients do, or we're not sure if we get you qualified? Is there any of the words or phrases that you just believe kind of help, put the client in a position where it's almost like fertile ground, where you're able to throw seeds and they're able to grow, not this hardness where they're kind of like building up these walls, where when you're trying to throw a value seed, it doesn't land well because they've got these things holding them back? Any other phrases or words that you think are important?
Yeah, I think framework of saying, hey, we want to find something that's going to make sense, that's going to cover you on loss. Like, so for instance, on like mortgage protection, if you go into a mortgage protection and you're trying to cover a whole loan, and I could probably count on one hand how many times I do that. I'll say little things like, hey, we just need to cover the loss of X. We need to cover and protect the equity. I will say things like, you've done a great job of creating a lot of equity in your home. We're going to do a great job of protecting it for you. We want to make sure that you're in the best position possible. It's just little things and subtleties that throughout an in-home, when people say like, how do you close? How do you take them to the close? My whole thing is you're taking them to the close the whole time. From the minute I sat down, these little nuanced things that you're saying are taking them where you want them to go, with the affordability and all that good stuff. that's where you want them, because they completely take their guard down. Now they trust you, and you're kind of like their friend on the inside. I'll talk people down off of high premiums. I'll tell them, hey, like I would go with the low one, because based on your budget and based on what you're going to lose, that's a good starting place. I'll tell them, we do reviews every year. So I'll get with you in a year, and maybe your insurance needs will change and your budget will be a little better and we can increase it. We have to get you in something today to prevent loss. Certain things like that.
That's good, dude. It's almost like I found out that if my mind is set on the fact that everybody needs life insurance, desperately needs it, everybody, either if they have it, we can probably get them a better plan because of the options we have, or if they don't have it, we can get them a plan. They desperately need it, so we're going to get them a plan that they can fit. Then every situation I have, I always found solutions to it. You know what I mean? It was even like, I remember when another FFL agent would sit with the client, I'd go in behind them. I remember thinking like, oh shoot, I'm not going to be able to help this client. And I thought like, that doesn't make any sense, because most people are inadequately insured. So they probably need more life insurance. And then I would take that and spin it, and I would use it to help sell them on the fact that I'm the person they could trust. I'm a field underwriter. I'm not a sales rep. And I'd use that to tee me up and get them to see me more as I saw myself, that's the first key, which is I'm not a sales rep. I don't need to sell. I'm a professional. There's nobody better that could be sitting with that client than myself. And I'm going to go out there and figure out a way to serve this client because it's for their benefit, not for my benefit. And I'd go in, and when I saw the other policy, I'd say, Steve, listen, man, let me just tell you something. I've done this for quite a while. And I've had horror stories where I sit with the client and they pull out a policy they used to have, and then they pull out the policy that they now have. And I say, why did you cancel this other policy? They said, well, somebody came in and said, the price would be better. And I said, well, the price is better, but you do know this plan ends 10 years sooner. And so the price through this company is actually the highest price out there. It just seems lower because your term ends so soon. Do you still need life insurance? Oh yeah, I still need life insurance. And so Steve, let me just tell you this, Stephen, like no matter who comes in after me, if they tell you to get rid of this policy, don't listen to them. They're a captive salesperson and they're just trying to make a sale, make a commission. I'm a field underwriter, so I can be very candid. I'm not swayed like that. This plan is really good. And then once I did that, dude, they were like willing to listen to anything I had to say, because they're like, who the heck comes in? And by the way, they're wondering from the last moment that person left the house, maybe it was Andrew, which is who I'd always run into. It'd be Andrew out here. For another one, Andrew Taylor. So, I would, they were wondering, can I trust Andrew? Did I make a good decision? Everybody's always thinking, did I make a good decision or did I get taken? There's always a little bit of that. As you get better, that's smaller for the client as far as that residue that's left of that, but that's always there. But when I come in and I make them feel good and I put them at ease about that, and then I use that and I package it in such a way where I'm talking about, I'm not a captive sales reps. This is what they do. And I tell a story. And I say, listen, don't ever get rid of this. Now, then I can come back and say, let me ask you this, Stephen. I know this is intended for your mortgage. Do you guys have anything to help replace the income? So, Bob, when you pass away, that $6,000 is gone every month. Do you have any kind of time period where that income is replaced? And would that be important to you, like it is about everybody else I've sat with? Well, yeah, it is important, because people look at life insurance in blocks: mortgage protection, life insurance, final expense, income replacement. And so now you can go in and show value in another box, and they're going to move to getting it because they trust you. And so, dude, this is, I mean, we could spend an hour and a half, and maybe we should, Stephen, and maybe we should get you back on and do one where we just go through some of these phrases, these setups, how to really, I think what's really important is how do you, throughout the process, the setup, have the client believing that, man, this person really has my best interest in mind. They're a field underwriter. They're not a captive salesperson just trying to sell me something. They care. They're competent. And how do you get them to take away all the things that can be held on to that would keep them from moving forward to get a policy? Because every client is there's very much similarities. There's not a million different things. There's only so many things that keeps a client from moving forward. And so, dude, phenomenal tip. Thank you for sharing, dude. We're definitely going to get you back on in the near future to do a full podcast with you. Guys, I hope this served you well. Steven, thank you for joining, man. And thank you for what you've done, dude. Thank you for going out there and setting a new standard that's allowed FFL and everybody that joins FFL today and tomorrow and the day following to elevate their game because of the example that you set. So I appreciate you, brother.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you.